Okay, today, as I said, class number 626, January 11th, 2024, the Holy Vision. And there's one thing that we need to make sure that we totally understand, and that is what words mean. I suggested this before, and I suggest it again. Everybody here needs to have access to Aramaic languages, because the most important words in the Bible come from Jesus, which are words from the Aramaic language. It is the oldest. You have Aramaic. The Hebrew came out of the Aramaic. And so, therefore, when you are looking at words in the Bible, you have to know what they mean. The Greek is more of something to make it make sense. The Roman, Italian, the Romans, they made stuff make sense. But most of the stuff that Jesus said did not make sense. We know that. So when we start looking at what terms mean, what words mean, I find that what has been extremely helpful for me is when I picked up the books Let There Be Light and another book called And There Was Light. Those are books by Dr. Rocco Errico, which are Aramaic translations, idioms, phrases, gets into the culture of the people and why they said things the way they said, what they said, all this kind of stuff. So as we look at these words, just like when he says, in my name, and you understand that means in the way that I did things. And then he goes deeper later on as you listen to some of the clips by Dr. Errico, the way I did things, and then my name means I'm totally involved or enveloped in this feeling. The two have made peace in the house. The thought and the heart, the thought and feeling are fused together, and that causes manifestation. And so we need to understand, when you go to a church and they say, and they pray and pray and pray, and then they go, in Jesus' name, most of that stuff is not going to manifest itself because they don't understand what in Jesus' name means. So until you totally have a conviction of what it means by in my nature, what is in my nature? In the way I did stuff. Do it exactly like I did it, and you'll get the same results. And most people do not understand what that means. And so I don't care what church you go to, they all pray in Jesus' name, and they all get the same results because they have a mixture of beliefs going on there. And so those are two books. The other one is the book of the Mysteries of Creation by Rocco Errico. He breaks down everything about it. Let there be this, let there be that. Let us make man. That's where we get the word humankind from. And then he goes, in my image and in my likeness. Well, that means so that I could communicate with. So the I is actually you, and you are coming up with some type of a form that you can communicate with through. Because the I that you are, soul, which is connected, which is one, which is all the same thing as God is, just the same way a beam of light coming off the sun is the sun. Carolyn and I were having a conversation about a week ago, and I asked her, is there a difference between the light coming off of the sun and the sun? She said, no, the light would have to be the sun. I said, and that's exactly what you are. You are a light. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. Well, where's that light coming from? Everybody is nothing more than light, because James said wisdom comes down from the Father of lights. So you are light, which is the same light that God is. There's no difference. It can't be. And God is in control. A universal intelligence, a divine principle, which has already expressed itself as light. So understanding all of that, we go to the title today, which is The Holy Vision. Now, in the book Setting a Trap for God, which is also Aramaic translations, the Our Father, that book, he explains, hallowed be thy name. The word holy is the same as the word hallowed, which means wholeness, WHOLENESS, one, whole, cannot be divided. So therefore, we're talking about the whole vision, not fragments, not pieces of it, but the whole vision. And vision has to do with what? Perception. What I see, what I understand, all of this, now I can read the Bible, and the Bible will be a lot clearer than it has been over the years. So, the whole vision, that's what we're looking at. Hallowed, wholeness, not pieces of, not two different things, opposites, not that. Just one completeness, and that's it. So we start out, and we have to say, okay, there appears to be 3 levels of consciousness. We've said this before. The material, the mental, and the spiritual. Now, Kenny and I were talking, I think it was yesterday. We've said this before, but I think we said it yesterday. And it was, I don't want to go into the particulars or the details of the conversation, but at the end of the day, when people like T.D. Jakes, when he makes a mistake, when he sins, when he has got himself caught up in something that's ridiculous, and I know all of you have heard about it, and we've talked too much about it. But in the meantime, he said, all I have to do is say, I'm sorry. But you see, let me show you the problem with that. You see, if who you think you are is something that vacillates between material and mental consciousness, then that is the only thing that could say, I'm sorry. Because the I that I am cannot sin. The I that I am cannot commit sin, cannot commit mistake. It can't do it. I am whole. But that part that appears to be, and I keep saying that, I want you to pay real close attention when I say appears to, because it never happens. There is no such thing as material consciousness. But it appears that that people are material people, and it appears that they do things that are unconscionable. And so then we try to say, well, we used to have a pastor one time. He used to say, you got to forgive me. You got to forgive me. Yeah, but forgiveness is a deep term. It means to return from fragmentation to wholeness. The only way for me to forgive you is to realize the truth about who you are. That's the only forgiveness that there is. There can't be no, I forgive you for what you did. Remember Jesus on the cross? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't know who they are. That's what he was saying. They have no clue. What used to really get me was when Jesus used to say stuff like, well, in the Bible it says what? He went into the caves, into the sepulchres. He went into the bowels of hell and released all of the dead and called them forth. He and brought them forth out of their graves. He opened the graves and brought them out. How did he do that? By realizing that there was no such thing as a spiritual person in a material grave. There's no such thing as a spiritual person who is sick, diseased, dying, having funerals, all of this kind of. But it appears that way, yeah, but that doesn't have to matter. There is only God, there is only Spirit. So therefore, we by way of listening at Paul. And I'm not saying Paul is lying. I'm saying Paul is telling you that in Romans 8, the creature, see, look at the difference. The creature was given choice. Not the I that I am. I have no choice. Why do I need a choice if I am already perfect? I am already, perfect means complete in Aramaic. I am already complete. There's nothing that is missing in who I am. So the creature, where did this creature come from? Formed from the dust of the ground and the breath blown in his nostrils, and Eve, the female, coming out of his breast, coming out of his rib area. So now we have man formed, and man and woman looking at something called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Where did that come from? See? Now we into all of this, and then what's the next thing that happens in chapter 3 of Genesis? Oh, we'll be like God. Reasoning, mentals. I can figure this out. If I figure this out, I can do this, I can do that. I'll be able to get it right. I can depend on Joe Schmo over here. He said he's going to help me. Okay, so now we got vacillating between material and mental consciousness. That's the only thing that could mean all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. All have thought that they are a combination of matter and the mental consciousness. Now, seeing that as it is, realizing that material consciousnesses would have to be in effect, and mental consciousness would have to be what? A belief that if I can do X, Y, Z, I can cause this to happen and things will be all right because I'll go from disharmony to harmony. But yet the kingdom of heaven is already within me. It's at hand. The kingdom of heaven is in my midst. I am always in the kingdom of heaven, but I don't act like that. I'm always making some kind of a choice as to whether something is right or whether something is wrong, whether something is good or whether something is bad. So that's where I am. What? I am never there. This, let us not enter into temptation. What does that mean? We talked about that before. Let us not enter into the temptation to do what? Believe in a material lifestyle. To believe in a mental lifestyle. That's where we have to constantly live. Why? Because God is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. That's the Bible. That's what it is. Now, when we realize God is spirit, the I that I am automatically abides in spirit, but there is something that's always going to tempt some part that suggests that it is a part of me, which is not. But because of the appearances, it appears that I have some kind of judgment. And the only judgment I can ever make is I am complete. So whatever this is that is looking at me is trying to tell me that it is either, if it's complete, if it's a cookie, if it's a dollar, it's material. If it appears that I don't have the dollar that I need, I don't have the cookie that I need, I'm starving to death, I got to figure out how to get the cookie. I got to figure out how to think the right thoughts in order to bring into my possession that which I appear to need. There we go. Back and forth between the matter and the spiritual. Now, most people, as you know, are living on the material level. I don't care where you look, you look all over the whole world, most people are living on a material level of consciousness. You know, I'm sick, they got stuff to fix this, I'm going to take it. You see it every day, all the time. People posting on different social media. The operation went well. They don't know nothing about what happened on the inside of them. You know what I mean? Now think about it. In your house that you live in, you always want to know what's going on. You bring the electrician in there, and he says he's fixing this and he's fixing that. You want to know. But when you go in and the man operates on you, cut you open and do all these kinds of things, they do the best they can not to tell you as much as possible. And they, well, you know, I'm sorry, Mr. Orr, but we had to take your liver out. No, they're not going to tell they're not going to tell you that. It's like, well, you know, we did a procedure. You don't notice how big their words are? You have hypoglossolaryngology, sound like they talking in tongues. And you like, oh, wow, man, what in the world did you do to me? But that's all right. I feel good till the next time. So, along comes David, who understands all this, and he writes something called Psalm 91. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Wow. So, the first thing you're going to do is what? Well, where is the secret place? Well, that's obvious. It's heaven. And I thought I had to die to get there. You do. What does that mean? I got to die to these appearances. I got to die to the material and the mental, or so-called material and mental level of consciousness, and be the spirit that I am. So if I'm that, I am automatically abiding in the secret place, and I am abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. Yep, I am that light that is coming off of what God is. Now, when you start moving out to figure out how to fix something, because something doesn't look like it's right, something looks broke, something looks like it is taking a mind of its own, and it's just going out, as the boy said, Richard Pryor said, every richer way. There's a scripture, and it says, you will hear a voice behind you. Here's the way. Walk in it. That's Isaiah 30, verse 21. Here's the way. What is the way? I am the way. The way is already paid. I have to approach everything as already done. We've been talking about assumption for how long now? Assume that it is done. Why? Because it is. I have been given not a pass, but the forever path, the forever way. There's nothing that can stop me from being what I am. I just need to understand that I can just assume that this is what I am. And so, well, why is this stuff happening out here that I got to keep dealing with? I remember I was telling Kenny the other day, I said, you know, when Jesus was sitting there, he said, Father, let this cup pass from me. What cup? And I'm quite sure you have that happen all the time. You just don't use those words. It says in Hebrews, Jesus was tempted the same way we are. That human flesh is always tempted, but yet I have overcome the world. I have overcome human flesh. I'm beyond this. So why do I keep dealing with it as though it is material and as though I got to figure out how to fix it? Because I am not aware that I am automatically in heaven. I am automatically assuming that everything is well all the time. I am acting as if. I am acting like this. What was he looking at that he was saying, let this cup pass? He was looking at the world, how it appears. But in his own heart, he has to remember the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. I think that's Psalm 24. The earth is the Lord. It belongs to God. And so as it is in heaven, so let it be on earth. The earth is as perfect as the heavens. There is nothing that is erroneous about the earth. But there is this, what we call carnal mind, this thing suggesting that there is something else. You have never been guaranteed that you will come through this world and there will be no suggestion that there is something else. It is we walk by faith and not by sight. We have to. Faith means I am assured of that which I expect. What do I expect? I expect to be in the secret place of the Most High and abide under the shadow of the Almighty all the time. All the time. There is no such thing as I'm going to figure out how to fix this. Fix what? It's already fixed. It's already fixed. You already have everything that there is to have. But because you are in this world, you will have to pay the taxes. You will have to abide by the rules and the laws. But you don't have to get sick. You don't, as that man, you're going to have to call the man Johnson, if that's his name. You're going to have a birth certificate. You have to do all these different things. However, you will not have to get sick. You will not have to be broke. You will not have to struggle. There's no such thing. There's just God. And because I abide in this vision of wholeness, I can assume that everything is already worked out. Like in Luke 12, take no thought for your life. The man meant that. Take no thought. How do I do that? I am already abiding in heaven. And if I'm in a place where everything is perfect, then I don't have to take any thought about how to make it perfect. So, let's just cruise right through Mark 11, 22 through 25 again. We'll do that again because those are some of my favorite scriptures in the whole Bible, along with Psalm 112. Wealth and riches will be in his house. That's just automatic. It is God that gives you the power to gain wealth that he might establish his covenant. So if I have the power, then that means I am wealthy. I like those. I have the, what is the power? God. How do I have the power? I'm a light that is the same as the power. So therefore, I have no business struggling. So in Mark 11:20, it says, have faith in God. What does that mean? I am assured that God is the power. Have faith in God. I am assured of that which I expect. Well, what do I expect? I expect God to keep on being God all the time. And I expect to keep on being what I am all the time. One with God, the same as God. That's it. I can't get out of that little narrow causeway. That's it. Because why? Because God is the substance of everything that I expect, and God is the evidence, the revelation of that which I can't see. So really, if I have the revelation, then my outer self will end up seeing it. Otherwise, I'll never enjoy it. The outer shell, the form that I dwell in, I'm going to use the mind to receive a revelation, and I am going to use the body to enjoy the blueberry muffin. I want them. I realize that God is the substance of them. If I have God, I have them. I'm directed as to where they are. I pick them up. I bring them back home. I have no hidden agenda. What do you mean you have no hidden agenda? I want some blueberry muffins. That's it. I ain't got no hidden agenda. They ain't going to make me wise. But you see, Adam and Eve, they're going to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil because it's going to make them wise. Ain't nothing going to make me wise. How can I be wiser than I already am? There's nothing to gain from this world. So why am I here? Because I said the other day, God, you know what, let this cup pass, man. I don't need to keep seeing this foolishness every day. People lying, cheating, stealing. You cut your TV on, that's all you got. Somebody getting shot, and then they're trying to figure out who did it. That's all you got. And it's like, enter into the graves, enter into the cave. Let the oppressed go free. Preach the gospel. Heal the sick. Raise the dead. Okay. How do I do that? I told Kenny yesterday, well, God has already done it, so I am walking backwards to take a look at how he did it. It's done. I ain't got to go out here and do nothing. I got to assume that it's all done. It's like, okay, so reveal to me how it is done. Bob said, oh, okay, you're doing the Michael Jackson, the moonwalk, the backslide. Yeah, I'm sliding backwards, looking all along the way as to how I have been drawn unto God. It's as simple as that. This already has been worked out. Well, how is it worked out? Okay, man, slide, just slide, slippery slide. Just cruise along. So now I got all this faith in God. And then verse 23, whosoever shall say to the mountain. But who is the whosoever? I. And what am I saying to the mountain? Move. What mountain? The appearance. What do you mean? Yeah, that which appears to be matter and that which appears to be, I got to figure out how to do it. I'm telling that to move. And when my consciousness is taken away from that, what do I have? Me, I am that. So I can say, and it is. You know, think about it. I got up this morning and I said, okay, so what do I have to do before I start the class? And I went through each little step of everything that I needed to do before I turn on the thing and get Jamal to and let him know that I turned it on, WebEx, and connect. I saw all that happen before it happened. And then it was as if something possessed me. I had to do each one of those things. You know, and so I did, and I had no problem doing each one of them. They were all done perfectly. Now, verse 24, what things soever you desire. The thing that throws you off there is things. Because the metaphysical people said thoughts are things. So you start thinking, if I think this long enough, it'll turn into a thing. It already is the thing. The thought already is the thing. So why do I got to keep sitting around thinking about how to get it to manifest? I don't have to do that. So let me get this straight. Whatever it is that I desire, it automatically is going to appear because I desire it. And I'll break that down in a minute. I'll share it with you in just a second. But that is the truth. It already is. It's like, I told Jamal a while ago, it's like walking to the closet and picking out a shirt. Walking to the closet and picking out a jacket. It's like going in, it's there. You just in the house, and there are many rooms in my Father's house. Well, in my Father's house, well, let's see, what kind of rooms are in my Father's house? Well, I got a living room. I don't go to the bathroom in the living room. So I got a bathroom. I got closets. I got bedrooms. I got all these different rooms. But the rooms already have furniture in them. The rooms already have everything in them that needs to be there. So I don't need to figure out where I'm going to sit. I choose. Well, I'm going to sit in the chair today. I ain't going to sit. The room is full. It's done. Okay. in the spirit, that's all you're doing. You're just seeing yourself in the situation that you desire to be in, and you are already there anyway because you're spirit. There's nothing to do. You don't have no figuring out to do. Okay. And if you stand holding art against somebody, that's the part you should throw me. Then you got to forgive them. Well, how do I do that? Well, quit holding art. How do I hold art? I'm seeing them as a material, mental person. If I stop that and start realizing that all I'm looking at is spirit, then it starts to get a little easier. I'm waking up the dead. I'm a chink in their armor. A little bit of light is coming in there. I am wishing them the best. There's nothing else. I am wishing that they see who they are instead of going around talking about who they ain't. I keep coming to something. This guy did this and this. I got a guy. This guy, every so often, he'll call me and say, man, I want to do some business with you. I want to do this, okay. And then I make the mistake of going, okay, you know what? Since he said he wanted to do this, I tell you what, let's get together. I'm going to call him up and share an idea and this, and this. And he'll get back and say, I'm at such and such a place or whatever. I'm going to be here about an hour. I'm going to call you right back. Then a week will go by. And you don't hear from him. And so then I said, okay. So he has done that for the last time. Loose him and let him go. You're looking at a material person that's making a commitment to you, and you know going well in your mind he's not going to keep it. So forget about him being material. Forget about figuring out how to not trust that he's going to do what he says, and just realize I'm just always, if you tell me you're going to do something, that's God telling me that he has done something. And I got to abide in that. I can't, I'll be there around 3:30. If I'm looking for a material person to show up at a material time called 3:30, I am going to be what? Disappointed, depending on who that person is. I got choices. Well, this person is pretty dependable. But this person, well, you know, he's always late. And that's what you're going to get. The one who's always late is going to be what? Y'all all said at the same time. Late. And the one who comes 15 minutes early, they're going to be there when? 15 minutes early. So you got them all compartmentalized. At the end of the day, they're going to act just the same way that you think they are. If they show up early, you're going to say, who are you and what have you done with the dude who's always 15 minutes late? What? Exactly. So you can't live like that. So you just let go of all that and realize I'm always dealing with God. Now, I want to, with all of that understood, I want to read you something that comes from Lillian's Water. For the first time, this struck me. I mean, I've read it a million times, but this time it hit, and it hit like, dong, the bell went off. And it was this. The value of a right thought. Remember, people think they need to think the right thoughts, and then that'll make stuff manifest in their lives. And it says, the value of a right thought is this. Think the thought that harmonizes with the universal fact of life. Then we automatically receive the blessing. Isn't that something? I am going to think the thought that harmonizes with the universal fact of life. Then I'm going to automatically receive the blessing. Well, how do I do that? Well, if I realize the universal fact of life is I am the way, the truth, and the life, I am the life, and if I'm thinking the thought I am life, and I get a feeling about it, that's what Greg Raden calls the two in the house have made peace. The thought and the feeling have become one. And as the thought and the feeling are one, I automatically feel I'm happy. That's blessed, blissful. Blissfully happy. Oh, wow. How do you feel when you understand, when something is clear? And I'm going to be honest with you. In all that get an understanding, when Solomon said that, what he's talking about is in all of your getting, get a realization of the reality of what really is. And once that comes and it's clear, you are completely happy. There's nothing that can stop you from being happy. Now, I want to, you understanding that now? We've been talking about the universal fact of life the whole time we've been talking here. We've been saying what? I am. There's nothing else. That's it, no matter what. And everybody I look at, they are I am. There is nothing else but spirit. That's all there is. Now, I want to read you something because here's where, I don't know about you, but this is where I have fallen. And this is what makes for confusion. This is in a little book I got called Thrust in the Sickle. It's by Walter Lanyon. And it never, ever met, I have it underlined. Well, you probably can't see all that, but I had underlined, stars beside it. That just means this is important. That does not mean that it has been revealed to me in all of its clarity. But it is important. But in my book, on page 72, it's in a chapter called Cast the Shadow. Casting the shadow. So I'm saying casting the shadow. So, well, God has no shadow of turning. God does not cast shadows. So what could he mean? That one word, having a problem with that word, shadow, right? So the other morning I woke up and it hit me, cast the shadow. I said, cast the shadow. Then I said, well, wait a minute, that's a chapter in a book that Walter Lanyon had. So I said, let me pull up that book right quick. I got the book, and I started reading Cast the Shadow. Now I want you to listen to this, and I want you to see how blissfully happy I got when this was revealed to me. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Remember Isaiah? I am he. I am me, except you realize I am he. You will die in your sins. You will make mistakes. I am he. Okay. Thou shalt have no other God before me. That absorbs all the attention and recognition, and then when the agreement is made within, when we talk about the two, the heart and the mind, the thought and the feeling have made peace, it says when that agreement is made within, the point or place of recognition, when you recognize the two have made one, it says the shadow is cast into a manifestation. Wow. The moment I have realized that my thought and my feeling have become one, that the shadow has been cast. The form. What? Yeah, I moved into another room. Okay. The shadow is cast into manifestation. It took me a little while to get there. I kept sitting there thinking about it. What? I said, yeah, you've been talking all week about it's already done. Everything's done. God did it. You said you're going to do the sliding back like Michael Jackson, and you're going to see how he did it. Well, that's how he did it. The two became one in the house. The thought and the feeling are one, and a manifestation took place. Well, why didn't I see it? You kept waiting to see a manifestation take place. If you're waiting to see a manifestation take place, you're going to keep waiting to see a manifestation take place. Why? Because my thought and my feeling agree that I am waiting to see a manifestation take place. It's that simple. Now listen to this. The casting of a shadow in ordinary parlance is caused by introducing something in front of a light. And this something, in case of the truth, is desire. In other words, if I see a light and I put something up in front of the light, what happens? It casts some kind of a shadow. But if I put something in front of a mirror, this is your girl, Lily in the Waters, what happens? It casts an image in a mirror. The mirror is the mind, the universe. Told you, we use the mind to do what? Receive the image. We don't use the mind to try to figure out how to get an image. Now it says, let's take this desire and bring it before the one power. That's the light. That's you. And it casts a shadow of manifestation which is held in place just so long as the consciousness is stayed thereon. As long as my consciousness, which is my attention, is on the fact that I have my desire in front of the light, it is going to continue to cast the image of that which I desire constantly. It's never going to stop. It's just constant. It's like Lake Erie constantly pouring down to Niagara Falls and the water constantly falling over. Why? Because the attention is on Lake Erie and not Niagara Falls. You get the attention on Niagara Falls, what happens? Well, one day it might dry up. But if your attention is constantly on, abide in me and my words abide in you, well, the words are constantly abiding in me, well, then that means that the flow of the Spirit is constantly, for what the Spirit is me, I'm flowing through this body, I'm flowing through this mind. The outer is casting the shadow of bearing fruit. It has to. It can't not be. That is solid. That's principle. As long as my consciousness is on the fact that I am the light. As long as my consciousness is on the fact that the thing that I desire, spirit, there is no manifestation of a material, whatever it is you think you want. There's no such thing. There is no matter. Take the consciousness away and it disintegrates. Remember Mark 11:23? Take your consciousness away from the fact that there's some mountain that's standing in front of what it is that you want to do, and that mountain disintegrates. Because your attention is not on that anymore. Your attention is on that which causes the mountain to disintegrate. The mind has always stayed on God. God is able to keep at perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26. I think it's verse 3. So, then loose it and let it go then has a deeper meaning than was formerly thought. You see, gradually man is beginning to see that the better the chances appear to be on the outside, the less he can count on anything definitely happening. It is generally the case where a thing cannot fail. It invariably does. Remember, the guy's going to show up 15 minutes late. He is. This is secure. We got this. It can't go wrong. Boom, belly up. You ever heard that term, belly up? We know what that means, don't we? And this is so true that it makes one understand why. Man's extremity is God's opportunity. When man has nothing to look to on the outside, then he is bound to turn to the one place from which all help comes. My help comes from where? The Lord, who made heaven and earth. So if I desire help and I place it in front of the light that I am, it manifests help. It's automatic. There's no way of changing that. So that means that the shadow is going to appear because it already has. If he is dependent on a person, a place, or a thing, this may possibly result in something coming into manifestation for a while. But in the evolved state of the Jesus Christ consciousness, it is impossible to count on anything from any other source than God. You know, the first time I read this was, oh my God, years ago. I read this and I said, oh my God. In fact, I tore it. I read it so much the book is torn up and thrown away. And Kenny sent me this book a couple of years ago to replace it. I was still up in Baltimore at the church. I shared this song. I thought I understood it, but I didn't. I didn't understand that a principle cannot change. There are no material principles. A material principle cannot change. As soon as spirit is established as the only reality, then the manifestation can and will take care of itself. Whatever the desire or whatsoever you ask in my nature, that give I unto you. Spirit will cast the shadow, matter, manifestation, and will continue to do so as long as the attention is on the power and not on the thing. If you are looking to manifestation for your help, you seek me and cannot find me. You know, at that point, we start realizing, I don't know about we, but I know Michael Orr had to realize as long as he was looking for something to happen, he's looking in the wrong place because the thing has happened already. So why did it happen? You placed it in front of the light. Well, why can't I see it? Because you keep looking for something to happen. And I said, oh, that's where I am. I got to already act like it's done. I got to act like that. I got to stop looking for the fishes in the loaves. What does it say in Job 42? I have heard of thee with the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. What does that mean? I see God. I see the light. I see if I take my desire and put it in front of the light, the desire is going to be, it's manifest right then. If I put it in front of the light, it don't take no time for it to manifest. It's going, I put this in front of the light and bam, I got a shadow. But the shadow is just that. It's an outpictured form that I was trying to get to be. But all I need to do is put it in the light. That's what the metaphysics be talking about. I will hold you in the light. They don't know what that means. Because they've been holding folk in the light for millions of years. And yet they keep saying, that's how your healing going to come. How can your healing come when it's already there? It's already there. So my desire for wealth and riches is in the light. So I must be wealthy and I must be rich. I must be healthy. I have all that. So I'm going to quit trying to see it and I'm going to see it because I see it. If I see the principle and see the process, then I can quit looking for fishes and loaves. I ain't got to look for that no more. See, that is the way. Hear ye in, walk in it. I got up and the voice that said, cast the shadow. How do I do that? Oh, I know there's a book that I got that's talking about casting the shadow. Yeah, dude, you've been casting shadows for a long time. And as long as your attention has been on the mountain just keeps staying there. As long as your attention has been on, I can't seem to see what it is. I can't get out of debt. I just keep making the minimum payments. I just keep well, yeah, that's where your attention is. Take your attention and put it on the light that I am, and take your desire and put it in front of the light. It casts, I'm out of debt. Remember when I can't remember, I should have looked the scripture up. It says, owe no man nothing but to love him. Well, I take the desire to owe no man and put it in front of the light. And guess what? The manifestation of being out of debt is what? Gone. And as long as I keep my attention on the light, it's going to keep manifesting the forms of my desire. That's all I got to do is keep looking at the light. Now, I had one more thing I want us to do, but I want to put it on this. I want it to be on the recording. So it's going to take a few extra minutes, but this is what I want y'all to do. I did it, and it worked for me. So it has already worked for you. But I want you to go through the process anyway. And that is this. If you got a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper, I want you to do this right quick. I want you to write down 5, just 5. We ain't looking for nobody to go ahead and write 100 things down there. Just 5 things that you desire. That's all we do. I wrote down, Jesus told me to do what? Go out and preach the gospel and heal the sick and raise the dead and let the oppressed go free, open the prison door. That's what he told me to do. And cast out demons. That's one thing I wrote down. Then I wrote down, okay, I have these gifts and these talents. I want to be able to use them for the glory of God. I want to be able to share my music worldwide. I want to do all those kinds of things. And I want the music to be sold. I want it to be downloaded. I want people to listen. I want people to get inspired. All of that's one desire, okay? The third one was, I'm trying to remember what it was that I wrote down. I should have brought the paper out where I wrote them down. But the third one was, I want to be a great loving parent, grandparent. I want to be able to know the truth about people, about it. I want to be able to abide in the Spirit, abide in the Word. I want to do all this. Remember now, I'm taking these things and putting them in front of the light. As you are writing out a desire, you are putting it in front of the light, and it is casting a shadow as you write. I'm telling you that. I know for a fact. Some of those things have already happened. Not the things I'm telling you about right now, meaning as far as an out-pictured manifestation in my experience, but I'm telling you they have out-pictured and manifested in my mind. So they have to show up out here. Now, where they're coming from, I don't care, because I know that they have already come from God. It has taken on the form. That's the living truth. So whatever you wrote, if you didn't write 5, if you wrote 2, if you wrote 1, I don't care what it is, you just write down something that you want, and then realize if I wrote this down and I truly want it, the fact that I desire it means I am bringing it in front of the light. And it is casting a shadow the moment I wrote it down because it's in front of the light. And I can go on. Now, here's the easy part. You are constantly going to think. Remember now, if I am thinking in line with the universal fact of life, then that means my thought is that's the value. That's it. That's how that works. Now, at the end of the day, this is what I really want you guys to see and to have. And I'm telling you, you already have it because I want you to have it. Because you already have it, period. And that's this right here. Joel Goldsmith tells a story of when he went to South Africa one time. He was going to teach a class. And he was going to be gone for like a month. So he got to, he was on his way to Johannesburg, but he had to stop off at a smaller town, the big plane, get off of that and get on a little crop duster and fly to the place where he was supposed to be going. He saw a little native kid come out there. They took the bags off the big plane. He saw a little native kid take the bag, take it off to the, put it on the other little plane he was going to get in, and then they got on board, took off, and went on to where it was they were supposed to go. When he got there and he went to get his bag, the bag wasn't there. And so he kept waiting and waiting, and the bag never came. And so they said, well, you know, we'll just go on to the hotel where we're supposed to go. And then we will get there and, you know, you'll get yourself together because he had a class he was supposed to teach that day or something like that. They got to the hotel, and I think he did his class or whatever he needed to do in the same clothes he had on that he went over there. Then the next day, he had to do another class. He had to do something else, but his bags still weren't there. So he ran around, and he's like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so then what happened was some of the students took him to the store, and he bought clothes to be able to last for like a week. He didn't know where his clothes, he didn't know. So they bought clothes, and he just kept going around. He stayed there all of that time, almost a month, and he still didn't have his bags. And so then he said that night before he was supposed to leave, a couple of nights before, I forget when, he said that he was laying and he said, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. And it ain't got nothing to do with spirit and it has nothing to do with the universe, but it has everything to do with how I'm looking at something. And he said, now wait a minute, what is the problem here? And I know that if I ask, I receive. He said it was revealed to him. You are looking for material baggage in a spiritual universe. When you stop looking for material and you stop trying to figure out whether that little boy stole your stuff or whether this went there, leave all that alone, loose it, let it go, and just realize that there is nothing in the spiritual universe but spirit, then you're free. He said the next day, he got up, and when he went over, he got to a hotel, and they said, these bags have been sitting here for almost a month. These bags been sitting here for however long he had been waiting for them, until he decided there ain't no material value, it's just spirit. And spirit is now. And that closed it all off for him, and he didn't have. He said he carried that the rest of his life. You want to heal somebody, realize that you're looking for a material healing in a spiritual person. There's no such thing. That's just spirit. So therefore, we know that we are to have the holy vision, which we have. There's no way not to have the vision of wholeness in every area of our lives. But there's this that seems to have choice. So, I think I'm going to quit being the creature. I think I'm going to quit being that creature. I think I'm just going to throw that out. I'm going to just keep abiding in the I am. And when I feel myself going off the rails, headed into something, just like right now, there's that temptation to say, man, these dudes, up there, these debates, these running for president, Trump is getting exactly what he wants, a whole lot of attention. That's really what he wants, and he's getting all of that. But in my mind, I'm sitting there saying, no, enough. Be thou removed. Be thou cast into the sea. I'm not trying to protect democracy. I am realizing I am spirit, the world is spirit, and I am going to abide in that. And I'm not looking at any material people running for no president. I don't care who they are. In fact, I don't care who becomes president. My idea is I am bringing before my mind, my light, the light that I am bringing before the light, the thing, plural, that I desire, and they are being manifest as form, and my thought is always on, I desire and have the spirit. That is the vision of wholeness. Amen. And so it is.